Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to film a video on traveling when you are sick. Now, if you have traveled when you were sick, you'll know that it really sucks. I went to Mexico for my sister's wedding, along with other people obviously, and I felt like I was coming down with a cold on the way there. We were there for 7 days. And now, okay, third world country, this is like the worst, right? We were at a really nice hotel and everything, and I'm sure there were was a doctor or anything or something like that. But at that point, I didn't think it was anything like any really big deal. I ended up losing my voice completely. It just really felt like a head cold. Coming back was awful. On the plane, when your head is stuffy, I thought my ears were going to explode. I was in so much agony. My ears have never hurt so bad in my life, and I've had gazillions of ear infections. I kept checking to see, I thought my ears were bleeding. It was so awful. And we were in the airport in Cancun, waiting to get on the plane, and I'm having this coughing fit, which later turned out to be bronchitis. You know, I can't find cough drops, so it was awful. It was just awful. So since then, I've learned a couple of things that I wanted to share. Like I said, I was getting sick on the way there to begin with. She got married in January, big time for colds. But I always travel with Kleenex. These nice, like, foldable ones that are so flat are really nice. Whether you're sick or not, whether I'm sick or not, I bring these. It's just nice to have them with you. You never know. Especially, like, okay, God forbid you get like a nosebleed on the plane or something. That has literally never happened to me. I'm sure now that I say that it's gonna happen, but you know, when you're like taking off or landing, what are you gonna do if you have no Kleenex? When you can't get up, that would really suck. So bring Kleenex, especially if you have little kids. Like there's always a reason. So bring a couple of packs to begin with, whether you're sick or not. I am not a germaphobe, not by any stretch of the imagination. I have a separate job working in, other than my Disney travel agent stuff, working in a lab. I'm a medical laboratory scientist, formerly called MedTech. So I've had a lot of microbiology classes, and I've learned a lot about microbes and stuff like that. So really what I see like just out in the world in the general population doesn't gross me out. That being said, I have read, it was on the internet, so it has to be true, that they never clean, like sanitize the inside of the airplane unless somebody like throws up or something. But the armrests and the tray table and the window and stuff like that literally never gets cleaned. Since I found that out, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's pretty horrific. I mean, never, like never, that's awful. So I will bring these wet ones and quickly wipe down like my area and my husband's. I mean, these wet ones are actually I've had this pack for years, and it's the wet lock seal ones, like it really keeps them moist. They've been wet for years. But it's antibacterial, and you can use it to clean your hands, and I use it to like wipe down the surrounding area. So that's super helpful. Now, in addition, I do bring hand sanitizer, like a small container of hand sanitizer, because if you're bringing it on the plane, and if it's a liquid or gel, it has to be in a quart-size Ziploc bag. But these are nice because you can bring these in your carry-on, and it does not have to be in a quart-size Ziploc bag because they're not like considered liquid. So that's really nice. In terms of the parks, again, people are touching things all over the place, handrails and just everywhere. I mean, when you're scanning your finger going into the park. So this is obviously going to be a lot harder with kids. Kids are constantly putting their hands in their mouths. But actually this would be another good thing to have, you know, to wipe off your kids' hands every now and again. Because I've said this several times, we almost never bring a bag into the Disney parks because you have to wait through the bag line, and it takes too much time. I'm way too impatient for that. You can make a lot of progress when people are sitting in the bag line, and they go pretty quick, but still, if you bring a bag, you have to wait and go through the bag check line. So that being said, I don't have any hand sanitizer with me. So if you're stopping to get something to eat, or even like, I don't even think about it, you know, like, oh, like I'm gonna scratch my eye, something like that. That makes it sound like I'm scratching my eyeball. You'll rub your eye or something like that. Think of how many like gazillions of people, you know, have touched what you just touched. You're in contact with a lot more people than you are on a daily basis, is my point. And because I don't bring hand sanitizer, I'm just really super cautious about washing my hands frequently when I am at Disney World, for sure before I eat. I noticed this last time, they had hand sanitizer stations set up. I'm not gonna say like everywhere, but there was quite a few. I was impressed. So that was very nice. We used them when we could. In terms of the bathrooms, they're actually really nice because maybe not most, but many, if not most of the bathrooms at Disney in the parks don't have like a main door to them. It's the kind where it's like a really big bathroom. So you just kind of like walk in and there's, you know, just a doorway with no actual door. So you don't have to worry about touching it again on the way out. So that's kind of nice. But common sense, wash your hands. Obviously before you eat, try not to touch your face. Bring hand sanitizer, like gel, spray, wipes, whatever, that kind of thing if you're into that. Now, going back to the airplane, one of my clients is actually a coworker of my husband's, and she got back and she said that she thought she was getting sick on the way down to Disney, and on the way back she said she was kind of miserable. She's looking for gum at MCO because she needs gum to pop her ears on the plane. Okay, I'm not gonna say they for sure don't anywhere sell gum at MCO. I've read that online. I can't verify for myself because I've not checked everywhere at MCO, but I have read this online several places and she said the same thing. You can't buy gum at MCO. You can't buy gum in Disney World either. I think just out of cleanliness, they don't want to have to be scraping gum off the bottom of chairs and things like that. So if you need gum to pop your ears on a plane, for sure bring it with you before you leave home, because you will have a very hard time, if not an impossible time, getting it once you are actually there. I realize that doesn't really sound like it's like for I'm sick kind of video. But again, if you are having trouble popping your ears because you are sick, this makes a world of difference. Now, a couple of years ago, my husband and I were going to fly to Washington, DC between Christmas and New Year's. The time of year isn't really relevant. But anyway, I had a pretty bad cold again. And because of what happened to me at my sister's wedding, I was terrified to fly. Like, you don't understand. This is me talking to the doctor. You don't understand. I was in agony. Like, I need something. I know you can't treat a cold, obviously, but is there anything we can do so that my ears don't feel like my eardrums are gonna rupture and they're gonna be bleeding on the plane? His recommendation, okay, I'm not giving like medical advice here. Talk to your own doctor. I'm just saying what he told me was, and he said, do not use this regularly. Just before you get on the plane, like that's it, just before you get on the plane when you're sick. But he said, use the Afrin nasal spray. I have the allergy sinus. I don't remember if he specified which type, but this is a 12-hour nasal spray. He said, use that just before you get on the plane and it really clears out your sinuses. I did that and I had no trouble whatsoever. So now before I travel, if I feel like I have a head cold or like I'm coming down with a head cold, I bring it with me just in case, because you guys, I was in so much pain, it was terrible. And speaking of like medication type things, you can buy a lot of medications and things like that at your Disney World hotel. They have a gift shop. They're selling all kinds of first aid things. It's expensive. It is very, very expensive. And a lot of times they don't have like more advanced things, I guess you would say. Like, I would not expect to be able to find something like this. They would probably have like little individual packets of Dayquil or NyQuil. I'm sure they, they've gotten like maybe Tylenol, ibuprofen, that kind of thing there. I don't know that I would count on something like Excedrin or like Excedrin PM. So if you use any of those things that are beyond the basic Tylenol and aspirin kinds of medications ever, I would bring a small quantity with you in a pill case. It's so much nicer to have it in case you need it. And there's a fine line here. You're not going to plan, like, I'm not going to plan, what if I need an emergency appendectomy? I don't know what you would do for that, but I mean, other than surgery. I'm not going to plan for some random bout of appendicitis if this has never been an issue for me. But especially, like, I have a lot of anxiety all the time, but when I travel specifically, I'm worried. What if I need this? What if I need that? If I have it in a small pill case, it's not taking up a lot of room. It really brings me a lot of comfort. And I think, especially if you're a mom traveling with little kids, that could be tremendously helpful. If you have, just a small bag of first aid type of things, so you don't have to worry like okay, what do we do? Where do we go? Now, if you're in the parks and you have some kind of medical issue, emergency, they do have first aid stations in all of the parks with nurses, so definitely use them. I've gotten ibuprofen from them before. I've gotten Band-Aids before. They've been helpful. But if you're in your hotel room at night, it's really nice to have these things, especially since the gift shops do close. I have heard stories, people having more serious medical issues that can't wait, and they'll call a taxi or an Uber, Lyft or something like that to go off property to a 24-hour pharmacy. But if you don't have to worry about those things, it's just nicer. I discovered a couple of years ago that every time I went to Disney, I would have this horrible, horrible heartburn, or what I thought. I ended up getting my gallbladder out, so maybe that's why, I'm not sure. But I started prepping for that, knowing like, okay, I don't want my trip ruined. If like this is an issue that doesn't affect me at home, but for some reason when I'm there, it's really affecting me, I'm gonna prep for that because it's miserable. If you've traveled, like I said before, if you've traveled when you're sick, you know how much it sucks. You're paying a lot of money for this trip and you wanna be able to enjoy it. You don't want to, and you're trying to make memories with your family. You don't want to be stuck in your hotel room sick because you don't have the necessary medications, precautions, whatever, to make yourself feel better so that you can go out and enjoy your day. So hopefully you don't have any major issues, major health issues or anything like that. But if you prepare, you can definitely help deal with any minor health issues on the way. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it helpful, and I will talk to you next time. Bye.